What is up, everybody? Welcome, Dylan.
Grateful to be here, man. Thanks for having
Hell
me.
yeah, we're here at the Unordinaries podcast. Today I have Dylan Gambardella with me, best athlete in Timberlake West history.
Grateful.
Hell yeah.
Grateful.
So outside of being the best athlete, Dylan is the co-founder and CEO of Different Health, an elite data-driven preventative healthcare and longevity platform engineered specifically for high performers. He stepped into the healthcare space after a decade of building NextGen HQ, a massive career alignment platform that connected hundreds of thousands of rising leaders with global enterprise brands. Through that work, Dylan recognized a glaring flaw in modern culture. High-performing professionals were constantly burning out and sacrificing their physical health for corporate revenue. A Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree, Dylan built Different Health to replace the reactive legacy sick care system with continuous biomarker data, tech-enabled clinical monitoring, and elite performance optimization to help operators stay in the arena longer. Dylan, anything I missed out on the different?
I'm still starstruck by the athlete comment. I'm flattered. I'm grateful to be here. Honestly, it's so special that the friendship has not only maintained, but also grown. I think the
100%.
camp conversations and seeing how they've evolved the business and life, and even just whether it's a WhatsApp or running into the streets in New York, hearing what you're up to, man, it's inspiring.
No,
I'm grateful.
likewise. It's funny because I mean we stopped going to camp 15 years ago, but I feel like every year, at least at one point in time, like you were 2 years older than me in camp, same age as my brother, but we like intertwined in life. Like you were building Different Health, you were building NextGen,
Yeah.
and I was always interested in entrepreneurship. Like I admired what you were doing with NextGen, and I did something, you did something, and it was always cool. We always kind of supported each other along the way.
Similar pathways, man, 100%. And that's core to, honestly, whatever camp, community, it's easier when you get a tribe behind you.
Yeah.
Right? It's a beautiful thing. And, even there would be a year between our run-ins.
Yeah.
But Subway, right, living, apartment search, it's a beautiful thing when our paths cross.
Amazing. Shout out Timberlake West.
Shout out.
So prior to Different Health, your first company, NextGen, walk me through how you started it, why you started it.
Yeah. My story, entrepreneurially, it's funny. I think about there are multiple ways to start a business. There's the passion driven of curiosity and interest in what you want yourself. There's also the boardroom way, which, for lack of a better picture or analogy, is like a bunch of people in a room talking about the market opportunity and engineering this plan.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
I've never done that.
It's always the former.
It's always a gut feeling.
Yeah, for sure. And something I've experienced. And I think there's a lot of pros and cons. Obviously, the more private equity, let's say,
Sure.
of boardroom style, that's there for a reason. It's a tried and true pathway. NextGen HQ started because a conference didn't let my co-founder and I in to really enjoy the kickoff party because there was open alcohol. And they were serving alcohol. We were 18. They didn't let us in.
Insane.
They said no. And we said, well, we're going to host a better event for people like us to not get kicked out, but to make us the mainstay. And truly, what started as an idea to host an event for young entrepreneurs, very selfishly driven. I wanted to meet young entrepreneurs, became a media company. And we tapped into this almost zeitgeist where people wanted to take agency over their work and their lives. And we called it entrepreneurship. But I think that's more of a mindset, honestly. And so over the years, it went from, let's host this event. Let's use all of our bar mitzvah money to invest in the downtown Hilton in Austin, Texas in 2015.
So that's how I started my first company, bar mitzvah money.
There you go. Shout out mom and dad and all the cousins and friends. And ultimately that event, it was the worst event of all time in terms of like logistics and everybody running late, and the backdrop almost fell on the opening speaker. But the people that we touched, the people that we attended, built this community around, it was self-progressing and almost exclusively word of mouth at the time grew into this community where we touched ultimately hundreds of thousands of young people and built a real company around it.
Walk me through the scale of what it turned into.
NextGen HQ started with probably 300 attendees. And by our last year, one of our recruiting platforms had over 100,000 digital users. before I stepped into different health. So that was probably 2023, from 2015 to 2023, 300 people to about 200,000. And again, not all event attendees and in person, but online based. We started one of the earlier job search and recruiting tools that tapped into the zeitgeist around ChatGPT. And when that wave happened in 21-ish, 22. And so it's beautiful to see that type of growth happen. It's also chaotic and crazy because everything breaks. You got to fix it, but that's the part of entrepreneurship that's fun.
So starting your first company at 18 and starting your second company in your late 20s, how have you changed as an entrepreneur? What did you learn the first time around that you just knew what to do right the second?
Oh, we don't have enough time, I think. Realistically, the few that come to mind immediately, number one is ship fast. With NextGen HQ, we built a mobile app that I'm super proud of. It's great. Today, we could probably rebuild it in like a week and a half with vibe coding and everything. But at the time, we spent, I think it was 11 months, 10 or so months, where we had the idea and we started development, had wonderfully talented engineers, but things take time.
Yeah.
And we could have shipped a half-finished product or a feature or two and let the market give us feedback. What instead happened is that we waited so long. By the time the app got out there and we had our first users on it, we realized that we got like 75% wrong. There was a core feature that people liked, but the majority of people did not care about. And so we had to spend then a few more months retooling it to get back to market. And we lost, I'd say realistically, 8-9 months of learnings. What I do today and what I tell our team at Different Health, we don't need to be perfect. We need to be very good.
Yeah.
But when you get to that 95% threshold, it's the 5% that takes an extra month. Ship. Let the customer give us feedback. I'm not saying it's okay to send like a typo-driven email to a client when it comes to health data. Not at all, right? But if it's something that we're playing around with, and especially if it's non-medical data, we want feedback. We want users engaging. The market is the best, the number one dictator of what's good and bad. And we ultimately at NextGen, my first business, didn't use that to our advantage. At Different Health, we get to learn from the market every single day and get that much better, that much faster.
I love that. You'll have a really interesting perspective on this. I think a lot of entrepreneurs have a philosophy when they're starting out. Some prefer the camp, hey, let's hire a bunch of junior people and let's grind, let's ship really fast. And you can probably, at the cost of a bunch of junior people, they feel like that's an amplifier. While other entrepreneurs, they have a philosophy, hey, let me only hire senior engineers because we have scarcity in capital and scarcity in time. They even though we'll have less people than a bunch of juniors, like we'll be more efficient with our time. I mean, your time at NextGen, I assume, was mostly similar aged professionals as you built and scaled it versus like starting different now. How have you kind of built the different team relative to what the NextGen team looked like?
Yeah, I also love how you're thinking about that in that framework. Small, not advice, but learning from my experience. The title and the sexy resume oftentimes is not what you're going to get when it comes to hiring. And so when I think about the few mistakes I've made, it's not that these people aren't talented. It's that I brought the seasoned salesperson on board too early, right? This person might be used to crushing it in sales when they have a team and resources and SDRs filling their calendar, and when they can, take their time and have resources to invest in marketing. But then you put that same person who did $1 million last year into a startup environment, they're just not used to succeeding in that domain. Go for it.
So I'm actually struggling with that right now, and I would love your thoughts. So I agree. When you hire someone too early, like they lose interest and it's stale, and you just from a momentum standpoint, they need to be excited and hit the ground running day one. So like, what's the optimal time to hire someone? It's like hire before you need someone, or be supply constraint then hire. Like what do you think makes the most sense?
Going back to your earlier question of what I've learned round two as a second-time entrepreneur and founder now. I am hiring extremely talented people who are better than I am in areas that I am not trying to be the best. And so what that means is I need the ultimate CTO because I'm not technical. I need the ultimate growth marketer because while I'm good at marketing, I'm not a fantastic marketer. Obviously, for a healthcare company, immediately day one, my first team members were scientists and medical doctors, right? So we have PhDs and MDs, and nutritionists and PTs and all the acronyms. We've got them on the team. And my job is to build an infrastructure or a cohesive unit that still has checks and balances, because even the best doctors, they can benefit from a layperson's outlook or framing or phrasing, and vice versa, right? Our product team needs to take into account the technicians' attention and detail and everything associated. But I want to build a meritocracy.
Sure.
Because quite frankly, when you're small and resource constrained, I don't have time to be managing 40 people.
Yeah.
Right. What I want to do is be the best individual contributor today. For me right now, a lot of that's business development and sales,
Sure.
and when the time is right, fundraising. But I have the best people at all of their unique skills. I have the best doctors. I have the best PTs, the best scientists, the best technicians. So I don't have to worry about them day to day, right? Obviously, there's a whole trust but verify thing. But if you put the time and energy, and sometimes it is a 20-year-old. Like we have these incredible summer interns who just joined who are already week one pushing our full-time team members in a way that's super healthy, right? And it's like, oh my goodness, they're going fast.
Yeah.
We haven't gone that fast in a little bit. It feels good and it's young blood. But I also need the trust and the validity of someone who's done it a bunch because we're in healthcare now, right? The bar is higher and the margin of error is much lower. It's actually non-existent, right? When you're dealing with HIPAA and everything associated. So it's been a fun challenge, but again, it starts with the people. Everything comes back to the people.
Absolutely. Take me back to the inception of Different Health. Where did that gut feeling come from? Where did the idea come from?
My mom. The extended answer is really my mom being the signal that the times were changing. So back up a little bit. Thank you very much for the kind athlete words. Big athlete myself, always played sports,
Big
into
athlete.
fitness.
Best athlete in Timberlake West history.
Grateful. You heard it here first. Get that on my LinkedIn resume. When I was 21 and I moved to New York, graduated Duke a little bit early and was building my first business, NextGen HQ, I was the nerd on the side for fun, just exploring what this advanced diagnostic scene looked like. There were some influencers who were early in the journey of longevity, and I was learning with them, learning through them. But I was doing it for myself. I didn't think there was a business angle, but I'd get a VO2 max test. I'd get the ApoB blood work that someone talked about in a podcast, and I was exploring and learning and furthering my own medical knowledge and just meeting the smartest doctors in the space, just emailing them.
I remember on Instagram, like pre-Different Health, like Shervy, what's his name?
Shervin shares,
yeah. Shervy. What's the runner guy's name? Rosen.
Jonah Rosner.
Yeah.
Yes,
I ended up following these guys because I saw you posting it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Two exact and great examples of people I was just learning from.
Yeah.
Jonah, NFL sports scientist. Shervin literally reviews every tech experience and health experience for his job, right? And so I was trying to just assimilate into that space because I knew I loved it personally. But I say my mom because, in truthful here, there was a day when my mom called me and said, hey, I read this book. It's talking about this thing like a VO2 max test. What is it? Should I get one? And my mom, I love her, bless her soul. She's the smartest, most amazing woman I know. She never really cared about health, and to the level that I did. She wanted to be healthy for her family and for us and herself, but she was not into diagnostics and all this jazz. And then I think it was probably 2023 when she had gotten hit by either the ads or the zeitgeist had expanded into her. That was when I thought, okay, there's something here. And the question for me became, how can I make it easy for people like my mom who want to be healthy? Because I have a hypothesis that every single person wants to be healthy. It's just really hard. No one wants to be overweight. No one wants to feel low energy. No one wants to, not love who they see in the mirror. We all want these things. It's really hard. It's daunting when an influencer every other day tells you conflicting information. Do I believe this, believe that? So I wanted to make it simple and easy to tap into all of this advancement in healthcare. And, 7 layers later and hypotheses and co-founder search and all that jazz led me to Different Health. But it's a beautiful thing when you can build something for the people you love because you're going to care that much more. And I'm blessed to say that 2 of our current members, my mom and my dad, right? 2 of my first members, my mom and my dad, to this day, still work with our Different Health coaches, come in every now and then for their diagnostics, and are learning and building their own dream health journey in their early, mom, kill me if I said her age around this podcast, but they're doing it at a level that people think it's too late. It's never too late. Whether you're 40, 50, 60, 70, it's never too late. And that's what Different Health is here for, to make it easy for anybody to get started.
I'm going to send this clip to my parents.
I love it. We'll get them in the lab.
So we will get them in the lab. So in terms of just the business pitch, so Different Health, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a B2B2C?
B2B2C.
What is the pitch to corporations and businesses why they should use Different Health? What is Different Health? Because I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, my first company, we had to educate, amazing product. We added so much value, but people didn't even know this product existed. So we needed to educate them on like what the product is before we can even sell them on the product.
Yeah.
Is that a similar cadence to you guys?
We launched Different Health summer 24. So almost 2 years ago. We're recording this in May. Day one of the company, I was doing a ton of educating. I would hop on a call, meet an HR leader, a corporate leader, an executive, and ask them a version of the question like, what's your health and longevity strategy? And they would look at me like I had 6 heads, right? And that's fine. And that's part of, the timing of a market and everything associated. Today, when I meet a corporate leader, that same person, it's a version of, very cool. We're getting smart on what longevity means to our firm. We're in the early days. And that's great too, because that means next year they'll be ready to talk about bringing Different Health in. So Different Health, under that thesis of making health easy, brings the most modern advanced diagnostics and functional health coaching into your office. We don't want you to have to deal with scheduling a lab visit, sneaking out of work, and getting there and back in an hour before your next meeting. It's going to make it too hard, too much friction, and you're going to skip that advanced blood work test. You're going to say, that VO2 max, I know I need it, but I can't. Like, I don't need it that badly, right? We want to remove all of those hurdles and give employers not only the best perk for their high performers, but also a reason to come join the firm. Retention, and if you're self-insured, using diagnostics up front might save you cost downstream. That's real money. The number 2 cost after wages, and then healthcare. And it's rising. You open the news any day, you hear about healthcare, GDP percentage of healthcare, all of it is trending up. GLP-1s, amazing innovation, very expensive. What helps GLP-1 succeed is when you pair it with a functional health journey like Different Health, right? And so that's the pitch. We come to your team, we give you the number 1 perk and amenity that every employee will actually tell their friends about and talk about and attribute to you because you made it possible. And goodness forbid, they actually find something about their health that they need to act on. Who do they have to thank but you, the employer, who allowed them, empowered them to figure out this health journey for themselves? And that's what we want to make accessible at scale.
Could you walk me through just like the high level math of insurance? So this is a no brainer for all employees, team members. I mean, it's cost aside, no brainer. I mean, I like it's something that every person, like you said, wants to be healthy.
Yep.
So walk me through like the math of insurance, like and I should know this, but I don't. Like as an employer, if my team is healthier, does that mean my insurance will be slightly less? Like as an employer, and let's just say you have 1,000 employees and you offer this perk to everybody, which I think all employers should do because it's an awesome perk. But what's the quantifiable ROI to employer? Of course, retention, huge ROI, and
Sure.
I'm sure I'm sure just from a retention basis, insane ROI
Pays for itself.
and pays for itself. But outside of retention, like walk me through just like is this correlated to just insurance pricing?
Yeah. So retention, you talked about. How much would you pay to keep your best people? Recruit more? Great. Talent, productivity. So you're going to show up to work. Recruiting, super expensive. Productivity. If I said your employees are going to have more energy, what does that mean for your firm? Well, if you're a trading firm, mental acuity, I don't know. If you're 2% more on, you make $20 million for your hedge fund. I'm making these numbers up. That third tier is the insurance. So Different Health, one of my founding theses that brought me into this space was this question, which was basically I'd been running companies for a decade, more or less at that point. I've been paying health insurance through a PEO. We used JustWorks. They did not sponsor that. And ultimately, I was just asking myself, well, I have a really healthy team. I invest in the team culture and health and benefits. And we literally had a gym in our office because I wanted it and I cared about it for my team. And I knew that I was going to perform my best when I had that. So if we're healthy, why are we paying the same amount in health insurance that the company over there that buys McDonald's every day for lunch is, right? And that was a core question. And ultimately, to simplify it down to something that I think anybody, whether you care about health insurance or not, can appreciate, if the insurance company thinks you're going to churn off their plan in the next year or two, they have a very low incentive to invest in your preventative upfront diagnostics, because by the time you learn something about your health and change it, you're healthier, but you've switched insurance carriers and you're now on to somebody else because you switched jobs, and with your job goes your insurance. So I started to think about how can we actually blow that model up? And then there's something called self-insured employers. Self-insured employers, effectively, as the name says, pay their own insurance bill. So they still use third-party administrators, but imagine that your company said, I'm going to take the risk of my insurance because I want to own that P&L. I want to actually bet on we're going to have a healthy population. I'm going to insure them myself. So now you're on the hook, meaning if I can make your people healthier and spend less money in health insurance, you're going to save dollars. And we don't have the math just yet to say exactly what $1,000 invested leads to long-term. But if we're running this podcast back in 2, 5, 10 years, I am willing to bet. I'm betting my company on it.
I mean, it's obvious. Like
That's there.
A company of 1,000 fit people versus 1,000 McDonald's eating team members. I mean, it should be much, much cheaper.
When you think about what they're going to use their healthcare dollars on, emergency rooms is so expensive, GLP-1s so expensive. If we can get ahead of these things, it's going to be the best way.
That's super interesting. So I think that's true for all companies, but companies that have like pensions, for example, where you're paying
Lifetime.
lifetime pension, long-term health. Like,
think about this. We just closed a mega county that everybody out here would know for privacy purposes. I won't say. They have 1,000 police officers on the force.
Wow.
Those police officers are pensioned employees. Healthcare comes with that. And it's typically a state or county or city or nation, federal expense. That's taxpayer money. So if you can save health insurance dollars, you're saving taxpayer money too for life. Same thing with an employer, right? If you have high tenured employees, typically VP, maybe partner, managing director level, they're going to be there for a long time. It's like you hire a CFO. You want that CFO to be there for a long time. If they're changing jobs every year, that's a problem, right? But that CFO you can invest in because they're going to be there for 10 years. You have 10 years to recoup the savings on that person. So spend a little bit up front, get them the happiest, healthiest person they can be. Not only will they stay and continue to accrue benefits and compound those to you, they'll also spend less money on the healthcare plan, right? And that's the pitch. And if we can start to create shockwaves in the self-insured world, then hopefully that transitions to PEOs, to even payer contracts over time with the broader individual populations.
What's the difference between traditional health and longevity health?
I would break it down and sum it up by saying traditional health is reactive care. Longevity, to us, is preventative and proactive care. Now, something I hate about the word longevity is that there's this idea that we're not going to see the benefits until we're 80 or 90 or 100. And that is great and that is wonderful. And we all want to have a long life. What's more important, at least to me and to a lot of the clients we work with at Different Health, is ensuring our health span matches that. And so the goal ends up being, sure, we want to live 100 years, but I want to live 99.9 of those super healthy, right? To minimize the gap between health span and lifespan, or in other words, maximize the health span percentage. And I think of longevity as what's going to empower me to live today in my highest performing self, while also making sure tomorrow I'm feeling good and able to be there for the grandkids and the memories I want to create, or the great grandkids. There's no reason why physiologically, I think 120 is what a lot of the scientists and the experts would say our bodies are made for. Great. If that's the case, let's get there in a really healthy setting, doing the things we love. And so one of the questions that I ask all of our clients is, what does success look like 1 year from now, but also when you're 80? Like, tell me what a day looks like. And you hear these beautiful stories. People want to be able to go on a walk, that hike that they do every year once a winter. They want to be able to do that for the next 20 years.
Yeah, it's sad. I'm in a wedding season right now, and I'm going to a lot of weddings, and you see a lot of parents aged mid 50s to 60s, just not healthy enough to dance at their kids' weddings, and it's sad.
Totally, man. And you don't want that.
Yeah.
And the sad part is, it started 20 years ago, right? It's not like this 50, 60-year-old woke up one day and can't move to the level they want to. Now, had they done something even 5 months ago, maybe there is benefit. And I want to be very much so conscious of the fact that there are chronic conditions that are devastating, and hopefully we can continue to advance the science of cures and treatments and prevention and everything. But I'll tell you this, the number one exercise for longevity, it's getting in the gym and lifting weights, right? The number one, the best pill you can take is exercise. And the sad part about exercise is that it takes a lot of time for that benefit to happen and to compound and continue to accrue. And so when we see somebody, of course, we're going to do blood work. We're going to learn all their biomarkers, but we're also going to do a full physical assessment. VO2 max, strength, mobility, balance, fall risk. We're going to look at range of motion. We're going to look at metabolic health. every facet, it's a total 360. We literally call our packages DH360 because that's what matters. And you don't need to do that every other month, but everybody needs to do that once, or at the very least one time, ideally annually, to see how your body's reacting. My dream, my vision is that the physical that we all know from our primary care doctors ends up looking like different health's physical. I hope it's us that does it, but even if not, I'd just be so happy if your son, daughter, child one day goes to get their annual physical and they get the different health experience, success, done.
It's amazing. Like I have 100% confidence, Joel. I've known you for 18 years and I know you'll execute on that vision. I mean, I'll go get my physical at a One Medical or a local practitioner. I'm out in 15 minutes. I'm like, what did you look at for? The doctor's maybe only in there for like 2 minutes. And the nurse comes in, they do the blood test, and then the doctor's like, all right, they hit the stethoscope on me, and they're like, you're good to go. But I'm curious, how long is a typical like DH 360 workup?
Blood work.
How long does it take to do a full holistic review of each individual person?
The member journey in total is about 4 hours. It's a commitment. So we go through an onboarding call to get all of your family history because everybody's unique. Context matters so much, right? I could look at your blood work today and that would be helpful. What would be way more helpful is seeing the longitudinal data and knowing where you're coming in from. Grandparents, parents, family risk, who has what if siblings, or whatever it is. And then after the onboarding, we do blood work. So it's a healthy amount of blood. We can do that in a couple of visits. If you're a little squeamish, that's totally okay. And then we have a 2-hour in-person physical. You're going to run, you're going to move, you're going to jump, you're going to bend, you're going to stretch, everything holistic. And that's what it takes. And then we have literally 1,000 biomarker data points on you. But I don't care if you don't even look. Our job is to interpret them for you, to tell you what exactly to do. And that's where I think a lot of, especially digital health companies, are missing the mark. They give you these PDFs and like, here, congrats, you've made it, your blood work's done, good luck. We want to take that data, get curated and actually practical, because dude, if you're busy and you've got 1 hour, it's not realistic for me to give you a 5-hour-a-week workout plan. Let's optimize the 1 hour. And maybe next week we get an hour 10 because you loved it and you are able to, right? And you build the time in. But if you're a McKinsey, BCG, Bain exec, and you're on a plane every other day, you're eating 3 meals out of an airport or a hotel lobby, let's find the opportunities for you, right? And that's such a different example than someone who is getting off the couch for the first time after 5 years not working out, right? Like we need to morph to your life.
So Whoop, Oura Ring, the new Fitbit. What's your thoughts on wearables? I mean, I'm wearing an Oura Ring right now. I've had a Whoop, and I wear them, but I don't know why I wear them. I could be using it the wrong way. What's your recommend? I mean, you have wearables on you right now. How do you track the insights? How do you track and use the insights from your wearables? And what wearables do you recommend? If somebody was optimizing for one wearable, what would that be?
It is super important to know yourself first and foremost. We have a ton of clients that we would never put a wearable on because we know the stress that would cause them. I'm wearing a CGM right now, continuous glucose monitor. I've got an Oura Ring. I've got a Garmin watch on. Different times I've worn a Whoop. I ate sleep measures, right? I am the wearable king in that sense, although Shervin Shares probably has me beat by a few. That said, if you are the type that's going to be worried, that's going to stress more, it's going to literally impact your sleep, your glucose levels. Everything is going to get worse because you're constantly fretting. For me, I don't even look at the data on a daily basis. I look at the trends. I want to know, okay, I made a change in my sleep timing. I woke up a little bit earlier for 2 weeks. How did that impact my HRV, right? A core metric of recovery. How did my resting heart rate look long-term? I had a shift in work where now I'm working later or I'm traveling more, right? How can I get ahead of that and try to maybe have a meal that I know is going to be steady for my blood glucose to just be one less stress in my body? So these strategic uses of wearables, very important. But again, if you have a wearable, a different health, you don't even have to open the app because all that data goes to your coach, goes to our platform, and they know, and they could ping you proactively. We see your calendar. We see your wearable, again, if you choose to share these things, and then we could tell you proactively how to go about these.
If you had to optimize for one wearable, I get it, each person's
For me,
different.
it's sleep.
For you, it's
sleep, and I use the Oura Ring.
Do you have an 8 sleep?
I have an 8 sleep.
I just bought an 8 sleep.
Great.
I'm a week and a half in.
It's great.
It's amazing, but it makes it difficult to get up in the morning because I'm so comfortable in my bed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You got to get the heat going.
I
So
know.
it
I'm at
smokes
level
you out.
5. What are you on, 10? Like, how do you?
I think I was like -9. Yeah.
Do you do the dynamic wake up?
Yeah.
Is it-
Yeah. Yeah, there's 8 Sleep. There's also Chili Pad is pretty good
Yeah.
for like a lower cost one. Basically, if you don't have a great AC and you can afford it, invest in your sleep. We spend so many hours sleeping.
I would say the past week and a half since I got the 8 Sleep, I've been sleeping. It's been a crazy week with work, probably 6 hours a night. And if this was like 3 weeks ago, pre 8 Sleep, I would feel so much worse than I feel
Wow.
now. Like, I mean,
Wow.
the 8 Sleep I'm a week and a half in. I don't know if it's a placebo or not, but so far,
Oh, it's real.
amazing.
It's real. And especially we live in New
Yeah.
York. ACs are not great. It's
Yeah.
kind of hot.
No,
The
they're
heaters
not.
work year round. It's super hot the last few days with 96. That's really important to optimize.
So, different health taking over. What does a roadmap look like?
Today, continue to grow through our employer partners. We're live in, especially New York City, we'll be live in California, and eventually we're talking about South Florida. Those are the markets we want to own. If you're a remote company, we want to work with you too.
Mhm.
We are currently doing everything from blood work to all the full movement. But ultimately, I think the vision is much broader than just employers. Hotels, real estate. I want a different health in your apartment building. I want different health in your office building. I want you to have
I love that.
optionality to be healthy. I don't want it to be hard for you to go be healthy. It should be the default case. And so until we can actualize, whether it's B2B to C or it's direct to consumer or both at scale, I think that's more of a, I don't want to say semantics, but that's a strategy that we'll continue to let play out. But I want to be available. I want to make it easy for you to come and invest in yourself because health is performance. This is life. This is performing at life, right? For your job, for your spouse, your family, friends. You want to be your best self. No one wants to be sluggish and slow and tired. We want to be healthy. We want to live long, happy, fulfilling lives. And health is the foundation of all of that.
I love that. Dylan, thank you so much. This was awesome.
So much fun.
Appreciate it.